All right. What's up, everybody? Coach Lyndon and
Coach Debbie here.
And this is Coach's Corner. Woo. I'm tired today.
Yeah.
I'm tired. I'm not tired of. I am tired being the community leader today. I think. Yeah, that's where I'm tired at. I'm tired as a man for sure, as an individual, but I'm very tired as the community leader because of the shift that I think is coming. And man, I actually had some deep talks in the last couple of days, and it was all regarding my ethos. And it's funny that those conversations led back to the Jessie conversation where she said, "Well, you have to change," and I said, "No, I don't." I was like, "I actually don't." I was like, "But I may change how I give the thing, right?" And so let's just say in the last couple of days, how I lead wasn't necessarily called into question, but my ability to lead in certain situations was called into question. And I don't know. I wasn't. First of all, I wasn't prepared for that. I wasn't thinking about that being a thing. It wasn't on my mind. It wasn't an issue or a problem. And I found myself being upset because it felt like a violation, right? Like it felt like this person wasn't showing me the respect that I have clearly earned in this community. It felt like they were thinking they were more important than this community. And I can't get behind that. I don't care who it is. It could be you. It could be my wife. It doesn't matter your position. You're not more important than the community. And the moment you think you are, this is not your space, right? Mm-hmm. Like if you truly believe that you're more important, it's not your space. And talking to this individual kind of led me down the path of realizing that, our different upbringings led us to look at respect differently. So, you just might as well say it. We have a lot of people coming from non-binary space or queer space that come into our space, more so non-binary recently, and trans. And I don't know how gyms have viewed this stuff. Like I didn't look up, man, what did this gym do? What does this gym think? I just went with my heart, and I listened to God as much as I could. Literally everything I was doing, I was like, this is connected to something bigger. Right? Mm-hmm. Today was a conversation where I wasn't sure if we were going to ostracize an entire group of community people. So I wasn't trying to, and it wasn't ever my goal, but it was something I was concerned with, right? Because my wording could make this person never feel safe here again. And if that person doesn't feel safe, then that entire group of people will now look at that as a space that could be unsafe. Mm-hmm. So I sat with, I pulled them to the side, had a conversation, and I realized as they talked that they were in as much fear as I am. And I don't know about other people, but it makes me look at fear, it makes me look at a person differently when I realize you're trying and you're scared too, right? Because a lot of people have the perception of me of not having fear, but it's not that I don't have fear, it's just that I'm showing up in spite of it, right? And a lot of people think it's the same. So like when they see me go like, ooh, I don't know if I can do this, like they think it's just like, oh, maybe it's part of the theatrics. It's like, no, I'm really not sure if I can do this. And I'm still gonna push to do this even though I'm not sure if I can do this, right? So, yeah, they're late. Give them a second. So this is one of those things where I really wanna hone in on it and then have the deep conversation about it. And as a community leader, it really does take a different mindset to do what I do. I take on the burden of father, friend, brother, all the things involved. So I have to realize that's what's happening. Mm-hmm. And it ended up being a really great conversation. It ended up being something where I know for a fact, standing on this side, because you have to pick a side when it comes to specific movements and groups of people. Mm-hmm. And God told me to love all, not to choose who I love. So it was a no-brainer for me in that space, but it wasn't an easy space to realize that I was having to make the decision from. Fair? And I think they were worried. I think they were worried that love, even though I speak love, I could move in
Different.
misunderstanding or difference. Yeah. And when they saw that was the case, it made the conversation different.
I think I just got to speak on it.
Yeah, I'm gonna answer it. Well, answer it.
Oh,
during,
yeah,
'cause,
absolutely.
you know how she gets. I'm outside of You coming? No, I'm not holding the door. We're still on cast. Go ahead, I'm listening.
Oh, yeah. So I'm speaking on it. I think from my perspective, seeing, like, I think I did a lot of talking, but I think what was transformative for me, and not even transformative, it's more like affirmative, is seeing you walk out what you talk, you know, even more so, you know, in hard situations, in every hard situation. You're walking out what you talk. And you talk about how a lot of the time you moved through your healing or through your pain, not really having words, you know, or descriptors of what you were going through or how you went through it. And I think that's what I'm seeing right now is like, I think a lot of spaces are looking at this from a place of fear, you know, not from a place of love. Right. And they're like, let me look at what other businesses are doing and what other businesses are standing on, and let me just emulate that, and then my space will be safe, you know. And I'm watching you do it the way that you're used to doing it, in fear, walking it out. I don't know what it is. I just know I'm trying to show love, not fear, and people are respecting that, you know. Like if anything changes, like that's why it's changing towards growth, is because you could emulate other businesses, but doing it that way would make this non-authentic. Like, I think that's the biggest difference between this place and whatever gym down the road.
Fair. Yeah, the concept of Brave Space was brought to me. I thought it was something new. It wasn't. It wasn't something new. It was there's a Lakota group or a Lakota tribe that runs like community stuff, and they always talk on it. That's why I said I was seeking out like some of my root stuff. I started looking into the fact that I have Choctaw in my blood, because I was like, why do I feel so attached to concepts that I've never heard this concept, and then I start reading this book, The Seven Circles, and all of a sudden I'm like, yeah, all of this makes sense to me. None of this doesn't make sense to me. I have different words for it, but at the same time, everything they're saying, even the respect of like, you know, Western culture, we like to bastardize the thing. We like to take what we want and then discard the rest. But I'd like to honor what I take from. If I'm taking, I'd like to honor the fact that I can, and that it is something different, and I'm not following everything. I don't want to just say, well, this is what it is. No, it comes from this, and this is why we took this, because that's what we are going to use. Right. And seeing that was the thing. So it drives forward the concept of being brave. Being brave isn't about let's say, doing what feels good in the moment. Being brave is walking through in fear, right? So I couldn't say that I'm trying to show God's love and then not walk in my fear. You get what I'm saying? There's a story in the Bible before, you know, because Jesus died for our sins on the cross and all the other stuff. That's the thing, right? There's a story before that happens where he's in the wilderness praying to God. And if you read it, you'll realize he's asking for the burden to be taken away. He doesn't want to do it. He wants no part of it. But he said, your will be done first. Your will be done. And I felt like I had my Woods moment, right? I felt like I was having, like, I don't want to be on a side that has to speak and ostracize myself further from certain spaces, because I know that this is a sensitive subject. And that was the hard part for me. The hard part for me was realizing that this is another weight that I will carry as a community leader. And I was like, if there's any other way, I don't want to carry it. I don't want to keep having to sacrifice myself. That was my my thing. Like, I know I'm gonna stand here, I'm not gonna keep giving, no, that's not happening. And then I was reminded through so many different people in this community exactly why I do this. And I guess that was my moment where I said, this isn't, love doesn't have to be comfortable. Right? So when I said love doesn't have to be comfortable to myself, like I have people in my life who have asked me, like, why isn't it easy? And I was like, because love isn't, right? And I'm saying that, and I'm being reminded of that, right? And then I got my own difficult things coming up. It's like it keeps coming. And I think a lot of people think that you just do it, right? Or you, like, it just, everything lines up and then you do it. But I don't think that's the way it works when true change is on the horizon. I believe that you have to actually persevere long enough for things to line up.
Yeah.
It's not just something that happens. So this is one of those moments. As a community leader, I am willing to take the load. But as a human being, I don't want to. And that is what I'm dealing with in this current phase. I'm dealing with realizing that I had to kill my own ego to stand on the side that's right.
I see your capacity growing right now.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's there's a big part to that. It's like when you manifest, when you are aligning, what's supposed to come to you is coming to you. Like, the universe heard it, but also the universe has work to do. It has to prepare you to be ready to receive what you just manifested. So there is going to be this period where you have to be humble, or you have to pick up these skills, you have to sharpen your skills, or you have to come to an epiphany before you're ready to receive whatever it is you just said you wanted.
Yeah. That is what we're kind of seeing. We're seeing me saying I want this space to be for, I use the term misfits.
Right.
I said I want this space where people who have nowhere else to go in society feel like they can belong. You can't say that and then when they show up, you do the opposite and then say it's real.
Facts.
Like, that was my thing. And I'm telling you, I've already started hearing it from family and friends, right? From people who have no idea, don't understand. Timor helped me actually draw the line. Shouts out to Timor, seriously. I started my conversation with Emily, and it was funny because I was so charged about it that I didn't really want to hear opinions, right? And Emily heard that and she listened. Fast forward, I sat with Sarah, and like Amy is doing something similar to what Emily did at the table, but Sarah's pushing back. Sarah's like, yeah, but that's not you, and I think you're coming at this at an angle that you don't know that's what that is for them. You can't just assume. And I said, I'm not assuming, and I kind of am, right? I'm assuming because I'm talking about me, I'm not talking about them. So I am kind of assuming, but at the same time I'm talking about how it felt for me, not necessarily what they did. And that turns into a thing. So then you fast forward again, and I was like, I gotta talk to, I listened to you, I called you, and we chatted about it, and I could hear like how you didn't want to challenge me, but you knew I needed to be challenged, right? Like, you were like, I feel like I'm supposed to say something here, but I'm not sure if it's gonna land or if I should because of our relationship. Yeah. And then I called Timor, and Timor is like, I'm gonna just tell you how this looks, and I'm gonna tell you how this could play out. And I listened. I probably spent 30 minutes listening, didn't say much of anything. And then after, Timor helped me draw a conclusion by talking about how there was a time where there was a group of people who couldn't even drink from the same sinks as another group of people. And those same people couldn't go into those restaurants as other people. And I don't think that, I don't like to play with the race thing. I don't like to talk too much about it just because I don't want my kids growing up having to see lines. I want them to understand what they are, but I don't want my kids to cut people
within
off.
Those lines. Yeah.
Right. I don't want them to play with those lines unless they are literally forced to. So when Timor said that, it made me think about the fact that again, my people, my ancestors had to deal with the same type of mess, but they also had people like myself who made the choice to stand on the right side. That was what I was like, got it. Like, again, I can't say I love and not show love, right?
Yeah, damn.
So that's
Yeah,
that's how they got
the
me.
community deep,
Yeah.
man. I don't know. It's too much.
I'm starting to realize that if again, people always ask me why I communicate openly. I communicate openly because you will miss it if it's only your voice. But there is a time to listen to yourself. But again, you will miss it if you only use your voice as the sounding board for your life. That's a bad sounding board, right? Because only you, right? So I'm glad. I'm grateful. I'm grateful it came down. I can already see some of the walls coming down around it, which is great. But listening to them say, like, to show me so much gratitude. And Ashley said it last night. She said, we got to lean on this community more. She was like, we're not like we're in, but we're not. And I was like, you're right.
You know what's crazy about that? I had the same thought, and for me, it's like one of these things where as soon as you open a door, you're in a larger pool, but the rules are kind of the same.
Fair.
And I'm like, even like leaning in or me being able to receive, you know, even if I get better at receiving, there's still now another like broader layer of like learning to receive deeper.
You go from the pool to the lake, from the lake to the ocean.
And that's what this feels like. It's like as the community comes in more and more, we have to learn to lean in in this season. But then there's going to be another season where we got to lean in even more, you know, and
uncomfortable conversations are definitely a large part of like us all being here. And I'm not saying we all want to have terrible conversations. I'm saying like there's a lot of things that come up that should be talked about, that we talk about, that allow people to feel safe and open and heard. And I'm just grateful to know that what I'm giving is helping. But I promise you, I did not ask to be a leader. If anything, I asked to not be one. So, and it was because of all the hypocrisy.
Yeah.
It bothers me. It bothers me to see hypocrisy. It does. So now realizing that I was in the same position was like, it's not a hard decision for me.
Yeah.
Right? It's hard for me to live with the weight of my decision.
Right.
But it's not a hard decision for me. And I think that is where, like, I'm glad that I have people in my life who help me see what my real choice was. But God already gave me the answer. There was no doubt that from the beginning of what I was going to do. It was just how it was going to show up.
Yeah.
Fair? Like, I'm not loving one group over another. But at the same time, I will love my tribe, like, unapologetically. So even the talk this morning with said individual, I don't want to point you out, but if you watch this, you know who you are. I appreciate you. And they gave me some beautiful talks, some beautiful points to think about. And then I saw them all just happy the rest of the time they were here. And I was like, there's so much fear that we're not even living in our own selves. Like, they always come in timid until that time.
Right.
And everyone cautioned me of talking to them by myself. Like, everyone was like, get a mediator, do this. And what was so beautiful, while we were walking, I said, everyone was telling me, like, to have somebody to talk to, and it just didn't feel right. And they were like, actually, I think that would have made me leave. Like, I would have felt like I was a problem, and that would have made me leave. And I said, I didn't, and again, it just felt wrong
You're going
to
based
me.
on your heart.
Yeah, come on, right? And
Heart forward, heart leading. Like, that's the reason I'm here, to be real. I was talking with Marjorie, and we were talking about Embody, actually. And we were talking about how Marjorie was like, I already came to, one of the Sunday runs. Shout out to Marjorie.
Shout out Marjorie.
Saying that she wanted to be involved more in the community stuff that we're putting together because she hasn't seen anything like that. She was like, even at Embody, like, they had a few events here and there, but it didn't feel like community coming together. And I was like, yo, I totally agree with that. She was like, I don't drink really, and they had like the bar and bar, you know, it's like the
yeah.
ballet with the
drinks.
with the drinks, and it's like I think we might do some of that too. But
Little some bullshit.
yeah,
Definitely some bullshit.
Yeah, we'll definitely do some of that too.
Have some fun bullshit. That's essentially what it is.
But I think what's cool is like we're doing something for everyone. You know, like we are giving away time, we are giving away ourselves because, and we're trying to bring the community together in closer, more like family, more like tribe. Then
you know, it's funny, and I'm only drawing this point because of what you're saying.
Yeah.
When people see what it is now, but let's say you just got here, you didn't see what it was when you got here.
That's the
right?
craziest
you
stuff.
You didn't see this space was an empty husk. There was literally not even carpet on the floors.
You should have took before photos.
Yeah, I think I have
Befores
some.
and afters
I think
for the
I got
space.
some from somewhere, right? Like I think I do have some, but like when we opened the space, we didn't know. I didn't know. I had no idea. I don't got no gym background. We're not funded by anything. I don't even have grants. Like so many things in spaces are like grant money this, do that. I didn't do any of that. I said I'm trusting God's will and I'm opening the doors. And I did that. And you've watched me do that. And to hear someone like Timor, Kay, Marjorie, Sarah Miner, right? Sarah Rutherford, people who have been in spaces and places and still didn't feel like they belonged to now feel like they do.
I'm telling you, it's crazy. I was talking with said individual yesterday, and I was drawing the point that this space, since I've been here, has been a wild transformation. I have no idea how much of the transformation like was me. You know, was part of me being here.
Yeah, you're a large part of it.
I recognize that, and like I also see every time I come in here.
I would say our relationship was a large part of it.
Yeah.
Like not necessarily us per se, but the relationship we have, like people seeing, because in a lot of spaces, people like, you're a powerful person, I'm a powerful person. Usually that causes a divide.
Yeah, it causes rifts.
Right, it ends up causing some type of friction. There's no respect, or the respect gets lost, or something happens. And that happens way too often. And a lot of it is just based on moving in a way that doesn't create more connection.
The ego and fear. I've seen it so many times. Like I think that's why it's been hard for me to work with people. You know, I've always wanted like collaboration.
Yeah, same.
And then walking it out is like, yo,
Same.
I tried to do it in Buffalo with the dance
I
community.
tried to do it here. I tried to do it here so many times.
I tried to do it in Buffalo so many times with the dance community, and it just like always fell flat.
Fair.
And it was always like, yo, why are we not working together? Why are you doing this project on the side while we're trying to do a project here?
Right, yeah. That type
Like
stuff.
you can do that, but
Right. And why do we have to be more important than another?
Yeah.
Like that's the part that I think bothered me the most when I would try to work with people. It would be the trying to be better than someone else. Not just in action, but like in, let's say, titles. And
comparatively.
Yeah. Like that's trash to me, right? Like your place is a place that you fill. My place is a place that I fill. I don't see the purpose in trying to eliminate your space. You get what I'm saying? And that's what I think so many, like what I see done wrong all the time. It's like, well, I'm better at that, so I should do that. And it's like, I don't think that's how it should work. And so that was my fear. My fear was a lot of, again, it was feeling disrespected. A long time ago, disrespect was returned in ways that if I returned them in here, we would destroy the community, right? So that, tie those things together, you run into the bigger picture, right? We're showing people that you don't have to move disrespectfully, like, and that's where I think that started. It's like, he's really accepting of Devin and everything that Devin brings. You'd be dancing around this fucking space, and I'd just be like, I'd be like, yep. He's dancing. All right, keep going. Right? And I think for a lot of people, they're not good. Like they're used to even looking at me being militant and seeing me respond that way. I think challenges people's thought processes.
Oh yeah.
Again, there's a joy to what we do. It's not fabricated. We're not trying to fabricate it. We're not trying to fake it. Right? We're just letting it be what it is.
And two things on that, I don't know, we're just talking the shit coming up. I'm like, I think the conflict that we go through in community allows for more space for joy and happiness. Like,
Yeah.
I think
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. See, if you was reading this book, you'd know you was right.
I'm not reading this book. I'm waiting for y'all to finish, and then I'm gonna read it on the sly afterward.
But you're right. You're absolutely right.
Yeah. And I think another big thing for me is like seeing that like where we were and how we've come is empowering for the relationship, I think.
Fair.
Because I'm like, we were talking about this, you know?
Yeah.
And
yeah,
I
we
think
were.
a lot of my life was talking and then not having it come to fruition.
Got it.
And
Yeah.
I was like, and just walking out and seeing the manifestation is, I think for me, it had to do with roles, you know? Like realizing that roles aren't a bad thing. I think for a long time I was fighting that, and then humbling myself enough to take a look at what roles actually does for community and collaboration. If you do want to collaborate, everyone has to have a role. If you're just collaborating and everyone thinks they're doing everything together, like the shit never works. Right. So like communication around what your role is and what's expected is actually necessary. So I don't know, I hear shit like falling into position, and old Devi would have been like, you want me to straighten up and fall into the position you're putting me in? Like, fuck that, you know? And like there's ego behind that. Like really what you want to accomplish is collaboration, which means you do have to do those things.
I think part of the reason I like when I first led, I'd like, you notice I'll do the cleaning myself. I won't say anything. I was like, well, a good leader follows as much as they lead. So I was just like, let me show the example of what I'm looking for. But I realized that in order for you guys to understand what was happening, I had to learn to talk. Right? I had to speak more. I had to stand on my soapbox for what the ethos is here to help people understand the connection. And that is exactly what's happening is we're watching the thing that I feel like was put on my heart manifested in space because I'm talking about my heart. And yet even in open communication, like me and this person have had so many challenges in communication just in the last like month, 2 months. And a lot of it was inadvertent. And I'm telling you, when I saw the fear, it changed things. Like that was like the moment for me. I had already come from it from a real space, but seeing their fear, and then they were like, I really thought you said you weren't afraid of anything. And I was like, oh no, I'm afraid of shit, but I'm still doing it. And I was like, and that looks like to the average person that I'm not afraid. I was like, but I'm not, I've never had a doubt about me having fear. And they were just like, I see you in such a different light. And we just started talking and they said, I really want to understand you more, which I did not expect them to say. But at the same time, I think I'm just, I said it before, I'll say it again. I prayed for an entire 3 years, and our prayer was, let us be lights in this world full of darkness so that people can see your light in us or through us, right? We always ended it with one of those two. And that was my fervent desire to create a space to where God's love changed people's lives. I don't care what you call it, I don't care how you feel about it, but that is what we're here for.
Doing it.
If I can give that, then I've done my part and I can literally leave this earth happy. So, all right, guys, somber conversation today, huh? Not really. We're usually all upbeat, but there's been some heavy stuff lately. So thank you so much for joining us. If you are interested in joining us, or I should probably say like this video, share this video, right? And also, if you'd like to reach out to us, you can reach out to us on www.gettingitdaily.com or find us on social media on Facebook and Instagram under Getting It Daily. Again, we help people change their relationships with food and fitness. So thank you so much for joining us. Until next time, peace.
Peace.